Hey, vinyl community. Um, it's just been a couple weeks since I posted a video, but I've been kind of on a tear buying stuff, so I thought I would do a quick video. Um, so on, I think it was January 10th, I went up to this small college town that has a small record store. And it's actually become kind of one of my favorite record stores in the area because they have the best prices. And if you've ever watched my channel, what I try and do is get the best prices I can because records are so expensive these days. And I still do believe that if you are careful and you look around, that you can find good deals on stuff. So that said, I went up to this record store and I was looking around and I saw this and I was like, oh heck, I don't have that. And it's $15. Of course I'm gonna grab that. And what I didn't realize until I got home is this is it's like a bootleg. It's like an unofficial release from Europe. And I was like, how did this get into this tiny little record store? And I still don't know. It plays well, which is great. And it's on silver vinyl, which when I was looking on Discogs to try and figure it out, this is how I realized it was an unofficial release. Because none of the like official releases were on silver vinyl. So it plays great and it sounds really good. So I'm happy to have it. I still don't know how it ended up in a tiny little town, but that's okay. Next thing I bought that day is this 50 Words of Snow for Snow, Kate Bush. I'm a huge Kate Bush fan. I didn't have most of her like newer material. I didn't have, so I have made it my quest to pick it up as best I can. This was $32, which it's a lot for me to pay for a record, or records. It's a double LP. But I was in a bigger area a couple months ago, record shopping, and I saw this one and the other one, the director's cut, had a lot higher price tag on it. So I know in Discogs it's not, it doesn't appear to be super expensive, but out in the wild, it is a little more expensive. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to grab this for sure. Okay, so I'll move on. Last thing I got that day is this Grant Green, Grant's First Stand. $24, so a little bit less. Usually it's what, $27, $28 for these new blue notes. So yeah, like I said, it's a few bucks less. Everything is a few bucks less. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not questioning it though. I'm happy to have found a kind of a bargain store for me. So yeah, that's all I bought this day. Then in looking at my little notes that I keep, it looks like I managed to go 8 days without buying more records. So I went back to the same place on the 19th and I bought a few more things, including the reason I went back is because they had the Kate Bush director's cut. This was $44, and that sounds like a lot, but like I said, when I was shopping in a bigger area and I was seeing these in the racks, they had like $60 on them. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get the director's cut and then see what else. So I was looking around through their jazz stuff, and I saw this. So it's a Kenny Burrell Blue Note. The cover is, if you can see, is by Andy Warhol. This was $25. Again, the tone poets are generally about $38, $40. So $25 is one, a good price. Two, is the exact same price that my discount store where I used to live was. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to get this. I did not look to see when this originally came out, with the Andy Warhol. Is it a drawing? Is it a painting? Looks like it's probably a painting. I should have sort of looked into that because one of the records later on I do actually talk about the artwork and the artist. But anyway, I'm going to move on. The last thing I bought that day is this Don Wilkerson, Preach Brother. I didn't really know a whole lot about this. It was $18, first of all. But in looking through the Blue Notes that they had, I decided to grab this one. Mostly because Grant Green. I wasn't super familiar with Don Wilkerson. This thing is so good. I didn't listen to any of the tracks on it beforehand or anything. But yeah, when I was listening to it the first time, I was just bopping along because it was so incredibly good. So I was just like, yep, I picked the right one, without a doubt. So then let's see, when was that? The 19th. And then the very next day, actually, I went to a Half Price Books, and the reason that I went because it was Martin Luther King Day, so I thought they might be having a sale, but they weren't. But I did have my 10% off coupon, so I ended up buying quite a few things. I don't have a Half Price Books that's super close to me, so it is a little bit of a drive, so I'm probably I'm definitely going to go back as long as time will allow on President's Day, because I think they'll be having the 20% off sale then. But nonetheless, I did find a bunch of stuff while I was there. So, sorry, I definitely have a little bit of a scratchy throat today. The first thing I bought was this Loretta Lynn, I Remember Patsy. If you have ever seen my channel, you know that I am pretty obsessed with Patsy Cline. Of course, Patsy and Loretta Lynn became super close friends. And I didn't know this album existed. I'd never heard of it before. I saw it and I grabbed it. And then there was another copy of it in the country stuff. And then when I got to the other side, to the rock stuff, there was yet another copy. So an album I'd never heard of in my life, I saw 3 copies of the same day. So I got to pick the one that looked best. This just had a little bit of cover wear. It was, I think, a couple more dollars, but I was just like, you know what? It's a Patsy Cline record. I'm going to grab the best one. So I really like Loretta Lynn. I'm definitely a fan. I don't know her whole catalog at all. I just know her hits. If you're looking at me, you're looking at country, those kinds of songs. And they're very nice. I don't mean that in a bad way. But they're not gut-wrenching, right? Like the way Patsy Cline sings, from the heart, from the gut, pulls at your heartstrings. So I really was not expecting a lot from this record. I thought it's going to be sort of like, if you've seen Coal Miner's Daughter and Sissy Spacek, the scene where Sissy Spacek's in what's his name? As usual, I'm going to forget. The record store in Nashville, after Patsy had the car accident, and she sings I Fall to Pieces, and it's just really cute and adorable, right? It's not from the heart, from the gut, but Loretta Lynn sings her heart out in this. She does a very, very respectable job of singing these Patsy Cline songs. She gets at you. She pulls at your gut. You feel it. In the same way that I feel Patsy Cline when she sings. Then the last track on side B is about 7 minutes of I'm not going to be able to remember his name. Let's see if I can do this. My name on YouTube is One Take Charlie, And I only do one take because I just decided that's the way I wanted to go. But the thing is, I forget names and I don't write stuff down, and I just forget this and I forget that. So, yeah, the name I couldn't remember was Owen Bradley, which I knew exactly who I was talking about, but I just couldn't think of his name. So the last track is called I Remember Patsy. See if we can get it to focus. Maybe. There we go. So it's like 7 minutes of Owen Bradley and Loretta Lynn talking about Patsy Cline. And it just, I had my headphones on when I was listening to it, and it just made the hair on my arm stand up. And it just gave me goosebumps the way that they were just like talking about their friend, you know, like reminiscing about, you know, like how, yeah, she was kind of tough, but how she was always there for her friends and stuff, you know, stuff like that. Like what a good person she was. So yeah, I mean, I was happy to buy this to begin with, just because it's a Patsy Cline record. It's a record of Patsy Cline songs. But then when I heard that, I was like, oh heck, because it was pretty moving. It was just pretty moving. I'll just leave it at that, and I'll move on, because I bought a lot of stuff that day, including this. Nina Simone sings Billie Holiday. While it sounds amazing, the recording itself is pretty bad. But what's so cool about it is most of the songs are live. Maybe all of them are. I can't remember exactly. But you know, Nina Simone. I love Nina Simone. First of all, I love Billie Holiday. Also, first of all, I mean the two I just adore. So hearing Nina Simone sing a Billie Holiday song live, and realizing that it was one take and it was recorded and we get to hear it, was incredible. So, I mean, even though the production values are not great and it's just sort of like someone had a cassette player that they just sat next to the piano and hit record, if you're a Nina Simone fan, like if this was like Joni Mitchell, I would have just not even thought twice about buying it. I'd be like, heck yeah, of course I want to have some live takes of songs by Joni. And that probably would be the only Joni Mitchell content in the rest of the video, because I haven't bought anything of hers. So, yeah, production value is not great on this, but Nina Simone singing live, you know, one take is amazing. So definitely worth it for that. Ella swings brightly with Nelson. It's Nelson Riddle, who did the What's New album with Leonard Ronstadt, you know, and a million other people. But in my mind, what I grew up with was the What's New album. I also grew up hearing Ella Fitzgerald quite a bit over the years. So, and I just love her, you know, and it's like just hearing her start to sing just makes me happy. It just makes me smile. She's so incredible. So this is on Verve. It's a stereo. I think it's not a mono. Yeah. But, you know, this was, I don't know. I wrote it down. I wonder if I can see. It was $9. So, I mean, you know, for $9, a record that's like more than 50 years old, still in the shrink, in super good shape, and it's Ella Fitzgerald. I'm totally down. So yeah, anyway, I'll move on. So here we have, this is Billie Holiday, and it's a compilation. I think it's a mono too. Yeah, it's a mono, and it's on Verve. It's really good. You know, I mean, when you think of Billie Holiday, you think of like someone, you know, doing a torch song, right? She's definitely a torch singer. So this is, it's really, really good. And I took the album out. The record is in the back here in its little sleeve. Oops, not that one. Oh, one take, Charlie. Messing up. This, yeah, this is the record. Bear with me for 1 second. while I try and put this back together. Again, one take. I just do one take. She's a little bit older here. You know, she had a pretty rough life, and you can kind of see that on her face in these pictures. But she still sounds amazing. She still sounds amazing in this album. So I'm glad I got it. And of the things I bought that day, this is the one that is actually like worth the most. I'm doing air quotes. Because while everything else was, you know, maybe 5 to 10, this was like maybe 20 to 25. It's not like it's worth $1 million, but original Verve mono of Billie Holiday, even though it's a compilation, still garnered a little bit more money. So, all right, so this one, put this way. Another Billie Holiday. Someone came in with about 7 or 8 Billie Holiday records and sold them all back to half-price books. And I just sort of lucked in to go on the right day because I had a lot to choose from. I was not going to get this, but it was really inexpensive. Let's see if I can see how much it was. It was $5. So I was like, yeah, I'll just give this a shot. It's on this Manhattan label, which I thought was kind of cool. But then as I was listening to it, and again, the production values are not great, but a lot of them were live recordings. And one thing that was super cool about that is like people would figure out what a song was. Like, you know, she's doing All of Me, Ain't Nobody's Business, the Fats Waller song, only she was doing it, you know, in her slow tempo. So like people she's singing, starting to sing Ain't Nobody's Business, super slow, and then people realize what the song is, and then you hear like applause. So it's really cool. And I think all of these are live, with the exception of one that they seem to put like an applause track on at the end, which I thought was kind of weird. And then things that are a little bit strange is Ain't Nobody's Business is actually on side 2. When I saw this, I'm like, why are there only 3 songs on side 2? But it was a mistake. These, you know, I don't know a whole lot about like compilation records like this. But one thing that I also thought was super interesting, if we can get it to focus, is, see, it says Ain't Nobody's Business, and then it says unknown as the writer. So I think these are like out of the public domain. Is that the correct way to say that? So if they had put, you know, Waller, Fats, would they have had to pay royalties? I'm not sure. Or is this one of the songs that, you know, Fats Waller went to like Tin Pan Alley and sold it for like $10 or something? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just think it's so interesting that, you know, All of Me, written by unknown, Porgy and Bess, written by unknown, Ain't Nobody's Business, written by unknown. So yeah, the quality of the recordings aren't great, but again, hearing Billie Holiday sing a live song, you know, one take, is interesting. And then for me personally, it was just interesting seeing the way that Manhattan Records, you know, made this mistake of putting a song that begins on side 2 at the end of side 1, and then not having to put the actual writing credits. So I found all of that really interesting. So if you know a whole lot about stuff like that and want to write to me, or just write on my page, that would be fine too, because I think things like this are really cool. Anyway, moving on, because I still have quite a few. Black Pumas, Chronicles of a Diamond. This is their second album. This is an alternative, I think it says on it, alternative album cover. Do I have the other album? Yeah, I do. I saw this and I went, oh no, I don't need this. The first copy I saw had $20 on it. I was like, oh no, I already have the other version. And then I was flipped through a few more, and I saw this one. It had $9.99 on it, which of course was gonna be $7 with the 10% off. And I was like, oh, oh, okay. Um, so I got it, and it's got this beautiful splatter vinyl. I didn't pull the other copy that I have out, but it also has really beautiful, beautiful. It's not splatter so much as it's this beautiful like red and orange. But I just thought they're so pretty, and I'm like, for $7, I'm just gonna have 2 copies of this. So I do. All right. I was ready to go, and then I looked at sort of the end cap where they had some new records, and I saw this, and I was like, oh, heck. It was about $20, I think. Yeah, $19.80. I didn't buy this on Record Store Day a few years ago, and I sort of regretted that. So when I saw this there and was like, okay, this is going to be under $20, I'm going to go ahead and just add it. Because I love Tom Petty, right? I mean, who doesn't? But anyway, I think, yeah, this is the last thing I got that day. The Pretenders Get Close. I actually have, if I can reach it. Sorry, again, one take, Charlie. I had it on CD all these years. So, and I love this album. And when I saw it, it was, what was it, $8, maybe $9. It was $9. I was like, heck yeah. I saw that it had been there about a month or so. And I was like, wow, why has this been here so long? I love this album. So I brought it home, happy to have it. And then when I was logging it in on Discogs, I saw that it had really bad ratings. Like it's like 80%. And I read like the reviews, and they were like, oh, there's just one good song on it. The rest of them aren't that good. I don't know. This album hit me pretty hard when it came out, and I've always loved it. So I'm super happy to have it on CD now, or that's hilarious. On vinyl. I've had it on CD for like 30 years. Happy to have it on vinyl now. And then, so that was the 20th. Then yesterday, the 25th, I had some business up in that little town. So I was like, okay, after the business, I'm going to go back to that little record store and we'll see what they have. So I bought a few things. I was just going to buy one thing and then ended up, of course, buying, I think, 4 things. So this is Bill Evans. It's an acoustic sound series on Verve. It's Trio 64, which is 1964. And then the thing that I didn't know this the cover. I didn't know who the artist was, so I looked it up, and I thought it was super interesting because it is a woman artist named Olga Albizu, Albizu. I'd never heard of her before, so I looked her up, and she was born in Puerto Rico to a pretty well-to-do family in, oh man, I didn't write this part down, somewhere around like maybe 1905, 1910 or something like that. And she, coming from a well-to-do family, she was able to pursue the arts as a career. Didn't have to have a job, again, air quotes, a job other than being a painter. And one of the other albums that she is very well known for is this one that you might recognize, and you may have noticed over on the side All This Time. So this is a pretty seminal album, right? Like everyone knows this album, but people don't know who the painter was, and the painter was Olga Albizu, Albizu. I just thought it was interesting. I'm I like supporting women, and you'll notice a lot of the things that I buy, like say the Pretenders have a woman in the band. So yeah, I just am always happy to talk about a female artist that I've never heard of as well. So that was really cool to me. She did some other album covers as well, none of which I can remember off the top of my head. All right, I'm going to keep going because I'm almost at 30 minutes here. All right, this is the International Submarine Band, Safe at Home. It's Graham Parsons, who I love. I have not listened to this yet. So in reading about this, this particular pressing, I hear that it's very good, and I am going to listen to it very soon. I just haven't had the time yet because I just bought these 4 records yesterday. So I'm going to move on. I bought this, another Grant Green. This one's called Green Street. They have a lot of good jazz stuff at this store, which is fantastic for me because it's pretty, nicely priced. It's not super expensive like it is in some of the other stores around here. So when I was just at the store a couple weeks ago, they did not have this. This one came out, I think, in 2021. So I just don't understand how they go about purchasing stuff. Like if they find older Blue Notes that are still available, and so they buy them, and they're even more discounted. I don't know, but this is all working out really well for me because I had wanted this album and just hadn't seen it until yesterday, but they didn't have it a few weeks ago. So yeah, just kind of odd. I'm not complaining, of course. I was happy to get it, and I listened to it last night, and it is amazing. And the last thing I bought was this, Stanley Jordan. It's a Blue Note. It was $3. So I wasn't, it's from like 1985 or something like that. But and it even has that sort of older Blue Note instead of the vintage, the Blue Note label that was in the 80s. You probably know Stanley Jordan. He does the double tap, which was kind of a revelation at the time. I know Eddie was doing that, but I don't, if you know other people that were doing that in the 80s in jazz, please let me know because I'd be interested to read more about them. But yeah, he was, even on the back of the album, they talk about him being a busker and like how it was blowing people's minds to see him double tapping to play the guitar. Is this a great album? No. Is it good? Yes. I think the first song on the second side is the only one that sounded pretty cheesy. But I can imagine in the 80s that this probably was pretty revolutionary. And I know that this was his first album as well with Blue Note. And I think I read something, the new president of Blue Note, like Stanley Jordan was the first artist that he signed, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, for $3, I'm never going to leave a Blue Note behind that is only $3, right? I mean, I don't think anyone would. So anyway, that's everything. It's 18 records in, about 3 weeks? So that's practically a record every day. I did talk to my friend back where I used to live, and he is sending me a batch from our discount store. So early next week I should get those. So I'll be back with even more new records. Yeah, I've just been tearing through buying stuff recently, and I'm definitely going to try and settle down. Anyway, that will do it for me for right now. So if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and peace out, and I'll see you later. Ciao.